Hello, everyone. I'm Dan.
And I'm Riley.
And welcome to the next episode of That One Podcast.
Today we're talking about pets. We have a great conversation with the Humane Society of Tipton County where we talk about the adoption process, volunteers, ways to get involved. So it's just a really good conversation to get to know what all that the Humane Society does for Tipton County.
All right, let's get into the next episode.
All right, welcome back to another episode of That One Podcast. We're here to talk about pets today and animals. So joined by the Humane Society for Tipton County. So let's go ahead and just get into it. Introduce yourselves and what role that you have at the Humane Society.
Okay. My name is Rhiannon Tansy. I am the secretary for the executive board. I am the volunteer coordinator, and I'm an adoption coordinator.
Okay, a lot.
Yeah,
yeah.
Lots of hats.
Yeah.
I am Haley Wood. I am on the executive board as well, and I am in charge of the medical and behavior for the shelter.
Okay.
I also help with adoptions, intakes, and, well, really whatever goes on there I'm involved with. So,
and how did each of you get involved in the Humane Society?
Her mom.
Yeah, we both got involved because of my mom. I've been involved with my mom's rescue antics from a very, very young age. She started actually with Pals for Paws out of Kokomo.
Okay.
And then she saw the need for Tipton from being a dispatcher for Tipton County with all the animal calls.
Yeah.
And then she and a lot of other people in Tipton thought, we need a shelter here. So, of course, once in 2020, I moved back here after college. I was like, okay, I'll come and be on the board too and help you. So
you both serve in volunteer roles or actually work there? Volunteers.
Yeah, everything's pretty much volunteer. We only have a couple of paid employees.
Okay. So for listeners who, only think of it as an animal shelter, can you kind of just describe everything all the programs that the Humane Society has?
We have a lot of outreach programs as well. The food pantry, that's done on Thursdays. Larissa runs that. She does a really fantastic job. We do vaccine
clinics.
Yeah, and those are free.
Oh,
and we do those with Homer's Helpers.
We do TNVR, which is trap, neuter, vaccinate, release. We recently added the vaccinate in there.
Okay.
To help the feral cat population.
Gotcha.
That's a big thing that we do.
So instead of you actually release them back out, even if they're not adopted, correct?
Yes, because they're normally not the type of cats that you would want in your home. They're kind of not the cuddly, cute ones. They don't really want to hang out with you.
But they contribute to the out-of-control cat population.
Yes.
Gotcha. So you bring them in, get them vaccinated. Do you spay and neuter those as well?
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. So is it mainly cats, dogs? Are there any other animals?
There's been a few. There's been a few calls that we have ventured out on. There was one that we went out on that possibly included us rehoming some goats. That ended up resolving itself.
Okay.
Rabbits a few times.
Yep. Rabbits.
I think we've gotten a call on a pig that was loose once.
Yeah.
But it found its way home, I believe.
Yeah. But we'll help out with any type of animal that we can, as long as we have the resources. We care about all animal life, but whatever we don't have the resources for, we do have to turn it down. So
yeah. So and obviously adoption is a big part of it. Can you talk about the adoption process and somebody who's looking for a new pet? What does it look like for them to go through the process of adopting a new animal? So
it starts with when you fill out your application, you have to go through me. I'm the FBI of HSTC.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look you up on my case.
Really?
I'm
Yes.
Penelope
Okay.
Garcia.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that you don't have any sort of like violent criminal history. Make sure we're not going to send our animals with someone who could potentially hurt them.
Yeah.
We are going to make sure that if you rent, I'm going to call your landlord, make sure that they are okay with you having an animal in your home, because we've had it before. That might sound a little drastic, but we have had it before where we've adopted a pet to live in an apartment. Landlord finds out, they call and say, no, you have to get rid of this animal. They end up back with us. We will look into their applications, just make sure that they have answered all the questions thoroughly. It seems like they actually care about having a pet. We will call their vet and ask, do you have your pet spayed, neutered, vaccinated?
Like current vet or current any pets at home already.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Or if they haven't had a pet before, of course we can't do that. We're not going to make you pull up a vet that you've never been to.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, so it's not anything crazy like that, but just thoroughly vetting people and making sure that our pets are getting good homes is really important to us.
And why it does seem like a lot, right? Instead of just, we're so desperate, the shelter's full, let's get as many animals out the door as possible. But can you talk about the importance of doing that full vetting and why people listening might be like, well, that does seem very intense just to adopt an animal, but there's obviously a reason behind it.
So normally the dogs that we get in come from people, dogs and cats come from people that don't really care, obviously, about their animals. So we don't want to adopt them back out to a similar home that they previously came from.
Yeah.
And going that in depth will prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And also we have found that if we don't do that in-depth search, if we don't make sure that they're going to that good home, then they'll oftentimes come back. They'll call us and say, hey, they're doing this, I don't like this, or hey, I'm moving and I don't want them, or I'm having a baby now and I don't want them. We didn't really look into them, so that's kind of our fault. So then they'll come back to us.
And that's just more resources, more time to on
And
your guys'
it's a lot more stress on the animal too.
Yeah.
Because once they get comfortable in their home and they come back to a shelter, shelters aren't the most fun for a dog to live in or a cat to live in.
Can you talk about that? I've adopted pets my entire life. I have pets now. And just one specific thing is like when you go into a shelter, the dog's attitude could be completely different than what it would be when you actually take it home. Can you talk about that? Because I feel like, especially for first time like adopters, it's like, oh, this dog looks terrified. I don't know like would I want that in my house? Can you talk about kind of the effect that the shelters have on dogs' mental attitudes? I guess mental attitudes, mental and physical.
It is mental. The shelter environment's really stressful for any animal. A couple of dogs recently that we've gotten in have lived their whole life outdoors, and then they come in and they're living in a 6x6 square cell, pretty much. We let our dogs out multiple times. We take very good care of all of our animals at the shelter, but it is very hard on them to live in a box every single day. It's loud. It's just not a home. They can't free roam. And it does take a while for any animal to decompress once they leave a Humane Society. So most Humane Societies will tell any adopter there's the 3-3-3 rule. 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. It takes a full 3 months for a dog to feel like it's at home. Wow. Cats are a little bit different because cats are very resilient. They're independent. Dogs are not. And it takes them a long time to really feel like they're at home. And I don't think people really realize that. And it's just like a human. I mean, if you move from one home to the other, you're like, well, this does not feel like home yet. And it takes a while. And it's the same for dogs. So their behavior from the day they come home from 90 days later is going to be completely different. So I really feel like people just need to give their animals a little bit longer of a chance before they're like, nope, not going to work.
And that even ties back into why you do so much background checking. It's not necessarily background check, but if you can tell they're not committed to a dog specifically, like, oh, well, they're just here because they want a dog for Christmas, whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, if they're not committed to 90 days of giving this dog a chance, then after a month, they're going to be right back here. Turning
Exactly.
it back in.
If you can't even fill out all the fields on the application, are you really going to give a dog 90 days to get comfortable?
Probably
in your
not.
home? Probably not.
Yeah. So when you talk about the Humane Society, a lot of it is volunteer ran for the most part. Can you talk about why volunteers are so important? Why the community supporting the Humane Society is so important?
Our volunteers are everything. We would be absolutely nothing without our volunteers. And we have so many amazing ones. So I could sing their praises for this entire episode if you want me to. And also the community supporting us is huge. We have some volunteers that
They're there every day.
Every single day, rain or shine, no matter what. If they go on vacation, they're stressed out about what's happening at the shelter. I know we are stressed out about what's happening at the shelter if we go on vacation.
Yeah.
So, our volunteers are absolutely everything to us.
Can you talk about some of the opportunities that are available for people to volunteer to say they want to get involved? It's, I had a pet my entire life. I'm too old to have one now, whatever. Like, what are the opportunities out there for people to volunteer? Obviously, the board is probably way high, obviously, but, as simple as walking dogs, right? You can come.
Really, if you think of anything, we need help with it.
Yeah.
Just because you sign up to volunteer, if you're not comfortable handling dogs or being around cats, you don't have to handle the animals. Mm-hmm. We need help with laundry, dishes, repainting our walls, mowing our yard, weed eating, doing our flowers, washing our windows. Like, if you can think about it, we need it.
Yeah.
So
if you're a retired mechanic and you would want to donate some time to work on our van when it breaks down, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Repairing stuff inside the shelters.
Any person, if you're sitting there right now and thinking, I wonder if I could help them, you absolutely can.
If you're a groomer and you want to let us drop a couple dogs off to give them a bath once a week, by all means, we would love that too,
Yeah.
Absolutely anything.
Yeah. So beyond the volunteer and the local support, are there any upcoming events that the Humane Society is planning for 2026 or, the first quarter? Probably too far to think about the end of 2026, but is there anything upcoming that you guys have going on? Adoption events, vaccine clinics, anything like that?
We don't have any adoption events planned right now.
It's very early in the year for us to have anything planned because we just got done with the holidays and we just got done with a huge adoption event.
Okay.
I wrote it down.
Yeah.
We just adopted out since October 45 cats and 23 dogs.
Wow.
So that was a lot of work. So we're kind of decompressing right now.
Fair.
But Haley and I were talking about an idea on our way up here that she was going to talk about.
So one of our big supporters, John Clerkin, he passed away unexpectedly in November. And we have talked about doing like a annual golf outing in his name because he was a huge supporter of us.
Yeah.
And we've thought about late spring, early summer doing a golf outing. It's more of a family event. The kids could be involved with that. And I really think that'd be a fun one to do.
Bring
so we're
some
playing
animals out too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we do our yearly gala. And that's always in November, and that's our biggest event, and that's really fun.
Yeah. So what is you mentioned the numbers, which seems like a lot for Tipton. But with that many dogs and cats getting adopted, what does the shelter look like currently? Like, there's still probably a lot of dogs and cats, or?
We're actually a little empty right now
really?
when it comes to our dogs.
Okay. Yeah. Knock on wood. Yeah. By the time this comes out next week, it could be a different story. But.
Yeah. I think we're at five dogs currently in our shelter, and I don't know how many cats we're at.
I'm not sure how many cats. We do have a lot more cats than dogs. Cats come in a lot more frequently than dogs, just because the general population for them is so much higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are expecting to get in a pretty big load of dogs here soon, but we're just kind of waiting on them. So
Yeah. So circling back to the adoption process, do people fill out the form before they even like get eyes on the dog, or like you say you just have a general interest, hey, fill out the form and then come in and meet all of the dogs? Is that typically how it goes?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And it does make us feel bad sometimes because we'll be out in the yard. It just happened to me the other day while I was doing a meet and greet. They'll come up to the door and they say, hey, we want to meet so-and-so. And I have to tell them, I'm sorry, you have to have an approved application to meet any dogs. And they do get upset and they say, isn't this a shelter? Don't you want to get these dogs adopted? And yes. I do, but isn't it awkward if you really like a dog and then you don't pass the application?
Yeah, because you probably get somewhat attached to it, just like, oh yeah, I really like this dog, but then sorry, you can't adopt him.
Yeah, so and then also I'm also the only one here and I'm conducting another meet and greet, so it makes it a little impossible because we are so small. We don't have this big staff like other like Indy or Hamilton County would have.
Yeah, Hamilton County is on a whole nother level.
Yes.
Have you been to the new one there?
Yeah. I actually used to foster for Hamilton County, and I've worked with them a lot.
Yeah, I haven't been to the new one. But even the old one was still probably much bigger than.
Yeah,
Tipton's.
even their original building was probably double our size.
Wow. So what is the capacity of number of dogs? Cats might be a little I don't know, not as like definite number. Can cats, I've seen like some shelters where the cats kind of just roam sometimes, the good behavior cats. But.
So we have 3 rooms for cats.
Okay.
There's the teenage room, the adult room, and then like the
crazies.
It's like they don't really like to be in the big population.
The chill guys room.
Yeah, they like rather just hang out and not really play with anybody.
Okay.
But our capacity on cats is, we actually just put this in place, comfortably 33.
Okay.
33 cats.
Yeah.
And dogs comfortably, without being totally overwhelmed, is about 9 to 10 dogs. At one point in time, we had 16, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Wow. So when you talk about those numbers from October, you've cycled through capacity 2 or 3 times almost, it feels like.
And at that point, we did have some in foster too. So that did help, being able to pull some from the foster homes.
Yeah. So we've mentioned foster a couple of times. Can you explain do you guys do a foster program then?
Yes.
Can you explain what that is if somebody's interested? We talk about, but foster fails all the time, tend to happen.
Yeah.
But can you just explain the foster program if somebody is interested and maybe they're not ready to commit to a full-time new pet, but they want to they still love animals and want to help out?
So it's not called foster to adopt anymore. It is just strictly foster. And then later, if they decide that, oh, I really like this dog, then we will adopt. But it is not foster to adopt anymore.
Okay.
We used to do that,
But for insurance purposes, it's
insurance always gets in the way.
Yes. But fostering cats and dogs is really helpful. It really helps bring out their personality, because like we said, a dog's personality in the shelter or even a cat's personality in the shelter is going to be completely different than in a home.
Yeah.
And if they're there long enough, they can really help us with videos and pictures and more information. And that really helps the dog or cat get adopted.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to commit to a dog forever and you just want one for maybe like 3 months, and then you're like, oh, I got to go on vacation, it's got to come back for a couple weeks and I'll pick it up later. Like that's perfect. I mean, we're fine with that.
Okay. And we did leave part of our title out when it comes to the adoptions. We are the foster and adoption coordinators. So we do coordinate the fostering as well.
Okay, fair. So when somebody comes into foster, what is it like the support system from the Humane Society? You know, do you give them food, instructions, or help along the way?
Yep, we
You
do it
are
all.
at your beck and call.
Yeah.
Night and day. You can blow up our phones and we don't care. We will give you food, toys, bed, blanket, medication, anything you could possibly imagine that pet will need. We will provide it. You do not have to spend a dime if you foster for us.
All right. That's good to know, because it can be a financial burden to foster if you're paying for a lot of dog food when you're not used to it, whatever it may be. So same process to foster. I'm assuming you at least check into them and do all that FBI stuff. Yeah.
And, I'll look at it. I'll pull out my Penelope Garcia, make sure you're all right.
Yeah.
And then you can come check out the dog or the cat, and then you can foster them.
Awesome. So, you know, obviously volunteers, money, it's always a struggle, but, you know, are there any specific needs or challenges that the Humane Society is facing currently that, you know, you could ask for help right now or just bring awareness to it?
Food and litter.
I was going to say food and litter is something we always need. We always need clumping litter for cats because we have 33 cats.
That's
a lot of messes to clean up.
Yeah.
Obviously, financial support's always wonderful. We live off of donations and all of those things. Yeah. And animals cost a lot of money. On average, it costs us $150 to $200 to spay or neuter a dog. And we took 2 yesterday to get altered. And then we had 5 cats go on Tuesday.
Wow.
So we really go over the top compared to some shelters with care to make sure that they are sent home in the best shape possible compared to what they came in.
And you do that before adopting them out, right? You get them altered, spayed, neutered, so that it's less of a burden, again, for the new parents of the pet.
Yep.
Yeah, they are fully vaccinated. They have their distemper parvo. This is for a dog. Distemper parvo, bordetella, and rabies. And cats is the FVRCP and rabies.
So that's why the funding, you know, even if a little bit, just still adds up because you're taking on that financial responsibility before you even send the animals back out the door.
Yep.
So if somebody does want to get involved financially, foster, come walk dogs, scoop poop, whatever it may be, how do they get in contact with you?
They can find us on Facebook. We are on Facebook as the Humane Society of Tipton County. Our website is, I believe it's tiptonhumane.com. Or if you just go on Google and type in Humane Society of Tipton County, we are the first one that comes up.
Perfect. Circling back to the adoption, I had another question that popped up. You know, somebody who's never adopted or never had pets before but want to, what are some things that people should consider before taking the steps and really committing to it?
Knowing, my biggest thing that I wish people would realize is, especially having a dog, is a commitment. It is a big step to take. And I feel like some people don't realize that before they apply to adopt a dog.
Yeah.
And I do have some people during the process when I am asking them questions or we're going through the process of meeting the dog or even during the meet and greet and I'm talking to them, they will realize, oh, this is going to be a lot of work. Or I think I'm going to go and think about this and then I'll let you know what I think. And sometimes they'll say, I've thought about it and I just don't think this is for me. And we appreciate those people who realize that in themselves instead of taking the animal home and then later
coming back in a week.
But even before filling out the application or coming and meeting the dog and getting the dog attached to you, just realize it's a really big commitment to get a dog and even a cat.
Yeah.
Cats almost more sometimes, depending on their temperaments. But I've had cats that are much more upkeep just because they're busy and running around trying to tear up carpet, like all this random stuff.
Yes,
And
cats can be very destructive.
yes, very.
And that is another thing too that I don't think some people realize. Is when a dog or a cat first comes home, they may have destructive behavior just out of anxiety.
Yeah.
And that's really common. And that is one thing you just have to help them work through with different chews and all of that. And I don't think people feel like that they can reach out and ask for help after they go home. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here.
Yeah.
Is I can help people with most things when it comes to that. And really give them the tools that they need to be successful with their pet.
Yeah.
And if they don't know what kind of dog they want to adopt or cat or what personality they want, we're really good at matching personalities with potential homes.
Yeah.
So,
How do you do that? Is it, just spending a lot of time with the animals to really figure out, and then you can talk through it with the individuals, or?
Yeah, there are a lot of times that people will put a certain dog on there. A lot of times when people apply to adopt a dog, they will say, I want to meet so-and-so. And I will meet them and talk to them. And in my head, I say, they're not going to adopt so-and-so.
Yeah.
They are not.
Yeah.
They're not going to jive with each other. And they'll meet said dog, and like I thought, it's not.
Doesn't work.
The vibe's not there. And I'll say, I want you to meet this dog. And immediately, bam, they fall in love, and it works that way sometimes. It's just spending time with the dog, knowing their personality, and being able to read people. I feel like doing this role involves having people skills and skills with the animals and being able to put it together.
Yeah, because a lot of times I think people, their first instinct is, oh, that dog's cute. Well, just because the dog is cute doesn't mean its attitude and temperaments go. It could be a dog that's 2 years old and it's a old lady trying to adopt it. Like,
that happens.
probably not the best idea there. Yeah.
We have it so much.
Yeah. Are there what's your favorite, I guess, or most memorable animal story for each of you since you've been volunteering working at the Humane Society?
I have a few, but like a case that we took in and they were successful, or an adoption, or either. Something that just stands out. Yeah,
it's
Lennon. I'll let
this
you
dog
tell
was so
Lennon's.
much fun.
Or I can tell
really
Lennon's
loved
beginning
it.
story, and you can tell the end if you want. Okay, so Lennon, we confiscated him last February from a home that he was left at. The woman up and left and went to Florida and left him tied to a tree outside.
Oh.
The doghouse was literally like falling in. He had a frozen blanket, frozen water.
Jeez.
And that was it.
Yeah.
The neighbor was calling and calling and calling. And we kind of finally just went out there and we called the sheriffs, and the sheriffs were like, yeah, we're taking this dog. And he was nearly emaciated. He was in really bad shape. If it weren't for the neighbors that were next door feeding him, he would have died.
Wow.
He would have died. When we got out there, it was me, Melissa, and Jessica that went and got him. And there was probably 6-7 inches of snow on the ground. And he was so excited to leave. He hopped right in Jessica's truck, and we were out of there. But there were deceased animals that I found all over the property. It was a whole really sad situation.
Yeah.
We got him last February.
And we eventually confiscated three more animals with the help of the police in October from the same property.
Wow.
They weren't there when Lennon was there.
Okay.
But
yeah,
came later. But Lennon was that case. He came in, he lived outside. He did really badly when we first got him. I consider him a behavior case for a while.
Yeah.
We got that under control. He went to training at Paws and Play Dog Resort and Training Center, who's our corporate training facility. And then good things happened after that. And I'll let Rhea take over from there.
So Lennon pretty much.
He got no views really
He
ever.
got no views. Like we would post him on.
What kind of dog is he?
A Heinz 57.
Yeah.
He's
Okay,
just
fair.
57
Yeah.
guy. He got like no interaction on our Facebook, on Pet Finder, on he never really got any applications. If he did get any applications, it was just because somebody thought he was cute, but they said like they wanted him to be a family dog and they had little kids, and it just wasn't it. When they met him, it just was not going to work, or it was a family that was what they were wanting was not him. And finally, there was someone who applied for another dog, and this was a time that I did my matchmaking.
Yeah.
And this person was actually my friend from high school. He applied for this other dog, and I said, no, this is not going to work. You're not going to like this other dog. And lo and behold, it did not work.
Yeah.
And I said, I think that you would love Lennon. So he said, well, bring him in here and show him to me. And he loved him. And he met his current dog that he had, and they had a blast playing together. And even though he was still a little rough around the edges, and we were telling him, you'll have to work with him a little bit when you get him home. And he was this unicorn adopter. He was just like, I'll work with him. And he just kept saying this one phrase that just melted my heart. He just kept saying, he has a place in my house. I never thought he'd have a place in anybody's house.
And happily ever after?
Yeah, happily ever after. We had him for, how many days did we have him?
265.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So just recently then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we were all crying and really happy. So
That's awesome.
It was great.
Do you have any current animals that are just like stealing the spotlight? I know you just went through a lot, obviously, but for somebody who's like, I'm ready to adopt, who's the showstopper?
We have a cat at the shelter that I cannot believe that we still have her. Her name is Shamrock, and she is the cutest, sweetest cat I have ever met in my entire life. If I did not have a rude bully cat at my house that I thought would beat her up, I would take her home because she is an angel baby. We do all of our, in order to make sure that dogs can go home to homes with cats in them, we have to kind of introduce them to a cat to just see what their behavior is going to be like. And we'll always use Shamrock because Shamrock is very happy to see a dog. She's happy to see anybody because she's a sweetheart. Yeah. And even if a dog is like, she's just rubbing up against the cage.
No cares.
Yes.
She does not care at all.
Oh my gosh. She is the biggest sweetheart ever. And she's on our Facebook. We have her on Pet Finder. She's on our website. If anybody wants to see her, she's the best cat in the world. And I'm sorry, Quincy at home. I love you a lot, but I love
How old is she?
Roughly. How old do we have Shamrock as?
She's not old.
No, she's
maybe
not
2.
She's not an old girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do have dogs at home and you want a cat, she would be good as long as your dog is fine with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. So you already mentioned the Facebook, the website. For people who are wanting to adopt, is that best to go there, fill out the form online before coming in, and are there actual open hours, or is it all by appointment?
It's all by appointment.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we just don't have the staffing to leave it open all the time.
Yeah.
Eventually, years down the road, maybe we will have the manpower to be able to have hours of operation, because we get that question all the time. What are your hours of operation? I want to come see it. And we will let people see the building whenever they want. If you want to reach out to us, send the board an email, let us know, and we will show anybody who wants to see the Humane Society.
Okay.
It's just if somebody's there. So just set up a time with us and we'll show it to you.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, to wrap up, is there anything else you want to promote, give a shout out to? The floor is yours before we wrap up. If not, we'll just, look forward to this golf outing, right?
If you're bored at home, come volunteer.
Yeah, exactly.
kids, if you're 18 and older, come volunteer. It looks great for college applications.
Yeah.
We love to teach young kids proper animal behavior, and it's really rewarding. So
Awesome. So yeah, you heard it there. If you're looking to get involved, there's endless opportunities, it sounds
yes.
like. So awesome. Well, thank you both for joining us, and we look forward to maybe we'll come out and cover the golf outing this spring.
Awesome.
this
Yeah,
summer.
thank you.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank
for
you.
having us.